Hello, my dear folks. Welcome to the show. East-West Show. Jack Zhao is your host on G&E TV. We pay attention to education, as you always can see, that we spent a huge amount of time talking about this same issue. It is not that because we kind of like especially fond of education, whatever. It is really the weight of the subject, education, being the big one in terms of the long run. If you're really looking for, if I could give you an example, if there is going to be a flood coming, so for the prevention of the flood, do you really rather spend your money on building up your levee or dam or the bank of the river, whatever, rather than buying sandbags? The answer is obvious, right? For some short relief, probably sandbags works. In the long run, it is your bank that holds water. It is your dam that holds the water. It is your levee that stops the water, that function. So today, joining me, my pleasure, my glory, is my good friend, a backbone of the community, a leader, a fighter, I call you, Mr. Honorable Mike Yin. So welcome, Mike, to my show.
Jack, what an honor to be with one of the world's greatest journalists.
Thank you.
The man who always asks the right questions and also provides
I wish I did
the right answers.
Right time, right?
Thank you. It is such an honor to be on your program.
Sure. Mr. Mike Yin has been on California legislature for 3 full terms, right?
That's
6
correct.
full years. And I watch him because on the job, I watch him almost every day of the 6 past glorious years. And he kind of did it one shot nonstop. Bills pass into laws, and he makes a record breaking. And stepping down from that position because terming out, he is once again elected one of the most glorious positions, the trustee member of the LACCD, LA County College District. And you hold the number 2?
Yes, seat, my goodness, what a great memory you have.
All right.
Seat number 2.
Yeah, seat number 2. All right. So to that, well, you're really talking about the expertise of this great gentleman, Honorable Mike Yin. So we're talking about your newsletter that caught my eye a day ago, that you send something to everyone, of course, and not everyone picks up as important as you wish, but I did. Was that the question you raised? Are we spending, or is California spending more money on incarceration rather than education? That is such a wonderful question. It's a pen. But I hate to say where, but it is a big question. So what makes your mind to find out that problem?
Well, Jack, thank you so much again for asking the right question. And the question really is, does California want to invest more money in prisons or in classrooms? I remember when I was elected to the Assembly, my very first year, my first month, we had to vote on the biggest amount of money in the history. I think it was $6 or $7 billion for our prison system. And I asked some questions. I said, number 1 is, where is this money going to? I also asked, are there any, what is the ethnic breakdown? Because I represent a large Asian Pacific Islander community. And I was a separate issue. I was told we don't have those figures because Asians are the model minority. There's probably no one in jail, which is not true. Let me give you the shocking figure. In 2012, we spent about $1 billion more for prisons than we did for education. The average cost of a prisoner in jail is roughly about $47,000 to $50,000 a year. The average cost to send someone to college is $33,000 a year to go to a UC system.
Yes.
Okay. California spends about 11% of its annual budget, the general fund, on prisons, and only about 6 or 7% on education. So we have already decided that the investment in prisons is more important than the investment in education, in my humble opinion.
Have we or has anybody done the research about the other 49 states? How do they balance between education and incarceration?
Yes, other states are rapidly coming to this one conclusion, that there are, first of all, too many people in jail, particularly on some of the offenses that are nonviolent. Those people need to go to, say, drug rehabilitation programs rather than expensive prisons. So once they decided that, and they're spending, Texas, for example, is deciding to spend less money on incarceration.
I see.
And once they have that, then the extra money, it's a fight to determine, will they invest it in education, will they give it back to the taxpayers, or will they spend it on roads and or education? I think right now we don't even have that choice, because we're saying that it has to go to prisons. Let me give you a rough idea of what the cost is.
Exactly.
So the $47,000 a year, about $20,000 is for security, to make sure that the prison guards are taken care of, adequate training, adequate equipment. About $12,500 a year is spent on health care. About $7,200 to $10,000 is spent on operations and administration. Food, about $2,500, very low amount. And only $1,600 on rehabilitation, for example, classes. And that gives you about $47,000.
I see.
So we are spending just a large amount of money, number one. Number two, no one wants to have a prison built in their community. So it negatively impacts the cost as well as the citizens who have to live near a prison. How many people want to live near a prison?
In other words, sir, if I take a look by analyzing those proportions, by hearing you read those numbers, it strikes on in my mind so hard, because I don't see the logic. The logic is that if you look around, look at the among those numbers, you see 20,000 out of 47 on the jail security. Are you building jails every single day, or are you just securing it?
A lot of it is for
security. And on the
security.
other hand, you were saying about 7,000 on management.
Yes.
So is management included in the security of the jails?
No, completely separate. Management means you have to run the computer system, keep the records there, and make sure that someone isn't released.
All right, now, and incarceration is a law penalty to a person who has committed a crime, yet they are not to the point deserve to die yet. So you always have to allow them a back door to walk out, right? So what have they spent money-wise in preparation for them to walk out as a person, to go back into the society, to make a living on themselves? So I see that as unbalanced.
Very little. $1,600 out of $47,000 for rehabilitation is very, very little.
That's
we spend
really
more money on health care,
numbers,
on food, on everything else, security, than we do on
for
rehabilitation.
Food, it's only $2,500.
Yes, that's correct.
And you just mentioned $2,500. I eat more than $2,500.
Yes.
Right.
Let me give you the shocking idea of how much it's increased. In 1980, California only spent about $680 million on its prisons. I'm not talking about construction. This is day-to-day expenses. In 2011, we spent over $9 billion. So an increase of 1,300%.
Oh my God.
And that the population did not increase by 1,300%.
Of course not.
Yes.
Of course not, yeah.
So let me tell you the answer to the very important question that you raised. which is there a connection between education increasing and prisons decreasing? We know that where the prisons, where the highest crime rates are, is the lowest education. The highest dropout rate is where the highest crime comes. So there is a direct correlation from those communities that have young people that have no job, drop out of school, and get into trouble. That's where the disconnection is.
It looks to me that if you put the numbers together, I always believe one thing. I stick myself to numbers, always, right? Let's take a short moment out. When we come back, please, sir, can we do the numbers? Let's find exactly where the fingers are pointing. So please, stay with us.
Thank you.